Recording in progress.
Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Flight to Freedom. This episode is called Lies, 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 and it's basically about the lies your eating disorder tells you. Because a lot of this episode is coming from people's fears, I would love to invite you just to take a moment to take a couple of deep breaths, to bring you into your conscious mind and into the now so that you don't feel triggered by any of the lies that are going to be covered in this episode. So in breath and out breath. Feel the air going into your lungs and filling your body. Feel where you are in this moment, in now, and you are safe. Okay, so I did some research for this episode. Some of these lies are lies my ED told me, but I asked a lot of people what lies their ED told them as well. And to be honest, the research was heartbreaking that so many of us live in this place of fear where we simply believe that we're totally not good enough and that we are having to follow these rules that are just quite frankly ludicrous. So let's get on with the episode. There's lots here. So the first one I'm going to cover is I have to keep my eating disorder a secret in order to succeed. Well, yes, actually, you probably do, because the secrecy is how the eating disorder thrives. And if you are hiding everything, then people aren't going to know and they aren't going to be able to help you. So keeping it secret is a terrible, terrible thing to do because it keeps you trapped. The less I eat, the more I'm in control. If I can just keep a little bit of restriction going, I can control everything. Can you really? Does food control the world? When you think about that logically, what you eat doesn't control anything. It simply numbs your emotions and therefore you feel more in control. But in reality, you're less in control because you can't actually think clearly and rationally when you're malnourished. If you're hungry, you're actually more compliant. You're more compliant to the eating disorder voice. You're more compliant to the negative influences in society. So you're less in control. Feeling empty is the only way I'm allowed to feel. Allowed by who? Who says? And why? Why is feeling empty the only way to feel? Because we need food. It's a biological necessity to survival. So feeling empty is just, again, a way to feel numb and a way to distract the mind from actually looking at emotions and dealing with what's going on around you. It's a way of hiding inside yourself. I'm not sick enough. I'm not worthy of recovery. Well, that's not true. You are sick enough. If you have an eating disorder that is making you feel less than, is upsetting your life, is making you frightened and controlling you and not letting you live life to the fullest, then you are sick enough. And you are always worthy of recovery. Everybody's worthy of recovery. Whatever your eating disorder tells you, you were born worthy. If you gain weight, you're a failure. No, definitely no. Why would that be? There are people of all shapes and all sizes in this world, and their weight, there's nothing about them. Animals come in all different shapes and sizes, and so do people. Their weight makes no difference. It's a number. Why would a number make a difference to whether you're a succeed or fail. It doesn't. When you reach X weight, you will be happy. You will be good enough. This is one I used to believe so much. Just another few kilos, another few pounds, I'll be happy. Well, every time I got to X weight, the dream weight, I wasn't happy and the goalposts moved. And I never found that happy, that good enough that was promised to me when I reached a certain weight. And every time I reached that weight, it didn't work. And there was never a thin enough. There was never a good enough. No, that's another lie. You can't be happy or have respect from other people if you're not thin. Well, that's totally not true, because there's millions of people in this world in all different body sizes, and plenty of them are far from thin that are happy. And there's lots of people that get lots of respect that are not in small bodies. So that one's absolute bollocks. You can't achieve anything in a fat body. Well, that's also not true, is it? Because if you just look in the media, you'll see plenty of people in bigger bodies. You'll see plenty of people on telly in bigger bodies. There's plenty of political leaders. There's plenty of all sorts of people in all sorts of walks of life who are in fatter bodies, who are achieving every single day. So you only have to look around you for the evidence to show you that that one's not true. If you gain weight, you will be unacceptable and unlovable. I did believe that so much. And I did gain weight in my recovery, and I am totally acceptable and totally loved. So many people give me love, and I give me love. And I accept myself, and lots of people accept me. So that one is also an absolute load of bollocks, to be honest. People will see you differently and you won't fit in. People may see you differently, but that's not a bad thing. People may have been worried about you. People may have been frightened to tell you how concerned they were. And they may see you differently as you gain weight because they're relieved and they feel hope that you're going to be okay. And of course you'll fit in, unless you are hanging around in a group of pro-eating disorder people, in which case you don't want to be there anyway. Your partner won't be attracted to you if you gain weight. Well, I can definitely say from personal experience that that is also an absolute load of bollocks. My husband is very attracted to me, probably more so, much more so actually, than when I was in a very undernourished body. He loves my curves and he loves my boobs, which I never had before. So no, that one's also rubbish. And if you're with a partner that can't accept you as you're recovering, and if you do gain weight, and if you're coming from anorexia, you will gain weight, you need to gain weight. And if you have a partner that doesn't accept that, then you guys need to have a serious conversation, because your weight and your body is not who you are. And if somebody values you only for how you look, then they don't value you at all. Your friends won't like you anymore and you'll be all alone. This one is tricky. In fact, even this week, how do I say this? I messaged some friends a couple of times to ask them if they wanted to join me for a walk. And both times they were like, oh no, I'm busy. And to be fair, I messaged them last minute and said, I'm going for a walk in half an hour. Do you fancy joining me? And that's perfectly fair that they were busy, that they already had things planned. We all have plans. But my inner critic, inner bitch, eating disorder voice told me that they didn't want to to come out with me because I didn't fit in anymore, because I was too fat now, because they are gym bunnies and I haven't been going to the gym for a long time because I've been allowing my body to rest and recover because that's what it's needed to do. And this did really upset me, and I did believe it for a few days. And then I actually got a message from them saying, do you want to come for coffee? And I was free and I did go, and everything was lovely. And it was all a lie. My friends totally accepted me. They still like me, and I'm not all alone. So people do accept you, and it's just the eating disorder voice that is telling you that you're not acceptable anymore. And you're not alone. You can't go out in public because you're too fat. Well, but public's huge, a huge, huge space. Outside is massive. You would never be big enough to be too fat to go out in the world, because no human being could be so big they take up all the space in the world. So again, that's an absolute load of rubbish. And anyway, if you look around, if you go to a busy high street and you just sit down and you just look at all the people coming past you, they will be in so many different shapes and sizes. So many. Some will be tall, some will be short, different skin colors, different hair colors, different body sizes, different ways of walking. Everybody is different. If you look at dogs, dog is a dog, right? A Chihuahua is a dog. A Great Dane is a dog. You don't expect them to be the same. They're all still dogs, but they're different. And we accept that they are all different. Birds are all different, but they're all still birds. People are all different. We don't all have to fit into one mold. You will be socially unacceptable. I guess we've kind of covered that one. It's just more lies, because you are acceptable for who you are. You do have value and you are worthy. And your body size does not make any difference. I bet you talk to people who are in bigger bodies, and do you judge them? Do you not go to a cashier in the supermarket because they're in a bigger body? Do you refuse to be served by somebody in a shop because they're in a bigger body? Do you turn away from people that walk past you in the street because they're bigger than you are? No, you don't. You just accept that people are in bigger bodies. And if you gain weight, then they will accept that you are in a bigger body. And that's okay, because your body does not define you. Your body is literally just a suit that you wear through your life. It doesn't make any difference to who you are. Who you are is in your heart, in your soul, how you treat people, how you look at life. It's got nothing to do with your body size. Oh, this one really broke my heart. My eating disorder tells me to isolate and that I can't go out, but I'm already so very lonely. That's just absolute control by the eating disorder, and there is no need. There is no need to hide away. People actually generally are really good. At heart, they are really good and kind people, and they want to help you and they want to be with you. And when you hide away, the demons just get bigger and bigger in your head, and it just becomes lonelier and lonelier and more frightening. But actually going out and being with people and getting past the voices that tell you that you can't will do so much, because we need connection. We need to spend time with people and connect with people for our health, for our mental health. It's so important. We are a sociable species. I can't eat in public because other people will be disgusted by seeing me eat. Well, I can only think of one time in my life where I've been kind of grossed out by somebody eating. and that had nothing to do with their body size. It was simply that they were cramming their mouth. It was actually a child, and he was, I think, acting up to annoy his parents because they were telling him off, and he was stuffing his mouth full of food and eating with his mouth open, and as he chewed, it was all falling back out again, and it was kind of gross. But people don't generally eat like that. This was just a child having a little rebellion moment. And so that's the only time I've ever been kind of grossed out by somebody eating. And when you see other people eating, do you feel grossed out? Do you feel like it's disgusting seeing people eat? It's not. It's just a need that we all have to do. Everybody eats plenty of times a day. Eating's on TV all the time. You see people eating. It's actually a huge part of being sociable as well, and connecting with people, going out for a meal and spending time with friends and family. There's nothing disgusting about it at all. I have to eat at the exact same time, the exact same food every single day. Well, that really is fear, isn't it? That's just finding something that your eating disorder says it's okay to eat and not straying from that rule. And that's going to keep you stuck. There are so many different foods, and every single food brings a benefit to our body in some way or mind. Foods that nourish and satisfy us both physically and emotionally are so, so important. And you can't get that on just eating the exact same food at the exact same time. Just try altering the time by 5 minutes and see what happens. I bet the world doesn't end. I bet that you don't explode. And I bet that nothing actually bad happens at all. And then when you've done that and realized that actually it was all okay, then try changing one thing in the meal that you've been eating, just one ingredient, and then see if the world ends, if everything explodes, or if you're actually okay. And when you see that you're okay, you can gradually adjust bit by bit, if that's what makes you feel comfortable, or you can just simply say, fuck it, I'm not going to live by this rule. I'm going to eat what I want to eat, because you can. You can eat whatever you want to eat, and you should eat whatever you want to eat, whenever you want to eat it. I will put a little caveat in there though, because if you are coming from anorexia, you have to eat. Absolutely have to. And if you don't want to eat, you still have to eat. So there's no like, I'm going to eat when I want to eat with anorexia recovery. If you are hungry and you want to eat, eat. But you must also eat 3 meals and 3 snacks every day. I will never, ever be able to like myself in a bigger body. I think we all believe that one, don't we? I think that one that's the biggie. That's the, I can't possibly like who I am in a bigger body. But when you actually look again at the people around you, do you have any friends who are in a bigger body? And do you like them? I've got friends who are in bigger bodies and I love them. They're great people. Their bodies are not who they are, and their bodies are fine. They're healthy. They are helping them survive and keeping them happy. I didn't think I would ever be able to like myself in a bigger body, but the more work I've done on trying to accept my body as it is, and acceptance is really just seeing what is and knowing that you can't change it. Like the weather, it's beautifully sunny today out there. It's actually a really, really lovely day. And that is what the weather is, and I can't change that. If I wanted to, I couldn't. It's morning. I can't change that it's morning. If I wanted it to be evening, it is still morning. I have brown eyes. I can't change the color of my eyes. I suppose I could put colored contacts in, but that just covers the color of my eyes. It doesn't change the color of my eyes. Yeah, so you can't actually change your body long term and be happy. You can live in a restrictive eating disorder, but that's hell. That's horrible. And that's why you're here listening, because you know it's hell and it's horrible. So you can learn to accept a bigger body, and you can expose yourself to noticing other people in bigger bodies and how that their bodies don't actually matter to who they are. And when you look around and you just look at how people are and what kind of person they are, and you spend time with people, when you're spending time with somebody, after a moment, you don't even think about what body they're in. You're just chatting to them and you're just not even looking at their body, and they're not looking at yours. If you eat, you must exercise to burn it off. Well, this was 100% me. I just did hours and hours and hours of exercise every single day, which is one of the reasons why I spent so long not exercising in recovery, because it was so compulsive for me. No, that's not true, because your body burns calories every day, even when you don't move, even when you're asleep, you're burning calories, and you need food, regardless of whether you exercise, you need food. You're not worthy of food. If you haven't earned it, you don't deserve it. Well, I call bullshit on that one. Everybody's worthy of food. When you look at a baby, babies come in different shapes, different sizes, different colors, different eye colors, different hair colors, different skin colors. And I mean, my eldest child was beautifully chubby as a baby. And when I looked at him with all his rolls of fat, I just saw this beautifully chubby baby. And he was so chubby that when he had a bath, my husband had to lift his chin so that I could wash his neck to get past the rolls. And nobody judges a baby for having extra weight, because they grow out and then they grow up and then they grow out and then they grow up. And you don't ever think, oh, that baby's chubby, I'm not going to feed it, because you know that the baby deserves food and you know that the baby is worthy of food. And that baby doesn't have to do anything to earn that food. And that baby grows up into a person, and that person is still the same. They still don't have to earn their food. They're still worthy of their food and they still need their food. You'll just keep getting fatter and fatter forever. Well, I've never seen anyone explode of fatness, ever, never, not once, not in my life. Oh, actually, no, I tell a lie. I have on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but that's not real. So no, you won't keep getting fatter and fatter forever. That just simply doesn't happen, not at all. You have food intolerances. A lot of people do believe in early stages of recovery, because there are so many digestive issues that are common in early recovery. And this is not because you've got food intolerances. This is because your body is not actually used to digesting different foods or an actual adequate amount of food. And because your body has literally been trying to keep you alive, and it has slowed down your digestion and slowed down all the processes inside your body to burn less calories, because you're not giving your body enough calories, then when you start eating properly and eating different foods, your body has got to learn how to relearn how to digest your foods properly. and your gut bacteria are at a minimum or even barely existing because you haven't had the variety of foods to have a good gut biome. And often there is purging, vomiting, laxatives, all of which upset your digestive system hugely. So if you are in early recovery and you are finding yourself spending hours on the toilet, you're bloated, you're gassy, you're running to the toilet, or you can't go to the toilet, this is all actually totally normal in recovery and doesn't mean that you have any food intolerances. Just stick with it. Just keep going. Don't start restricting foods or limiting what you can eat. Just keep going and your body will adjust. I promise. And the last one that we're going to cover today is I can't trust my body. Well, I'm not entirely convinced by that one. Do you trust your body to breathe? I know you do because you're all here listening and you're all breathing. Do you trust your body to tell you when you need a wee? I bet you do. I bet you don't think, my body says I need a wee. Do I really need a wee? Is my body telling me lies? I bet you don't think that at all. I bet you just think, I need a wee, and you go for a wee. Do you trust your body to tell you when you're cold? Or do you think, my body's telling me I'm cold, but I don't believe it. I'm not going to put a jumper on or go in the warm. I'm just going to stay freezing. Don't believe that either. So your body knows everything that it needs and why. And I'd love for you to journal this actually, and I would love to hear some feedback on what you've come up with. Why on earth would your body lie to you about food? Your body's only priority is your survival. So why on earth would it lie to you about food? Anyway, that's the end of today's episode, and thank you so much for listening. I'm super grateful that you're here, and I hope to see you in the next episode, which is actually going to be a super exciting one with a very special guest. Thank you very much. Bye.